Today we're talking about a band, Mork. The album Dypet came out this year, 2023. It's a atmospheric album. I enjoyed the album before this a lot, so I wanted to just see if this would, hold up. So we are Blenderstyle.
Cheers, gentlemen.
Cheers.
Would you call this atmospheric black metal?
This is definitely more atmospheric than, this is pretty atmospheric.
I love that we're disagreeing right off the bat.
Really?
This is, you can't have this much guitar riffs and it to be this atmospheric. There's too much.
I think there's atmospheric parts to this for sure.
All right, so we reviewed some atmospheric black metal albums before.
Yeah.
Like Wolves in the Throne Room, pretty atmospheric. I feel like this is more like guitar driven, even.
Oh, definitely. I mean, it doesn't mean that it doesn't get atmospheric. I mean, the guitar driven parts are just leeways into some pretty. I mean, to me, black metal's atmosphere. It is atmospheric, and I think this kind of hits a lot of.
Okay, I see what you're saying.
But I would definitely say this is a moody record, at least compared to the last record, which is I'm gonna murder this. Kate Threllan
came out in 2020. Any song on this,
but I enjoyed it a lot, and there's been a progression within the band, and
within the band, you mean?
Within the man, yes.
Yeah, because it is a
one man army, dude.
Yeah, Thomas Eriksen.
Very interesting dude. He does all the instruments on all Mork stuff, from what I understand. Mm-hmm. And he has his own podcast, the Thomas Eriksen podcast.
Did not know that.
Have you checked this out?
You told me about it, and I have not checked it out.
So I listened to one episode. He with I forgot who the guest was, a guy that used to be in Mayhem. And it was very interesting. It's just, they sound like dudes just like us. Mm-hmm. They're just from Norway and they have an accent, but it's in English, so I could understand it. Unlike all the lyrics and shit on this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not a beef, because you can't have beef with that. I have to respect it.
Were the lyrics not in English on this?
I think right? I didn't look at it very deep.
I didn't get into it,
but I figured most of it was not.
It didn't occur to me that it was not in English, but I couldn't understand a lot of what was being said anyway.
Maybe because I can't. Also, that adds to the atmosphere, right? Like, what the fuck is this guy saying? No, honestly,
that's true.
I do want to mention, like you mentioned, the guitar parts, right? Like in this intro track, like honestly, like there's like a creepy but awesome, like uplifting guitar riff that happens. And it almost sounds like a circus, and you're like, "This doesn't belong here."
I swear to God, I wrote circus in my notes. Literally,
the way this album,
it is creepy sounding.
It's creepy. I agree.
The way the first track on this album comes in is epic. It's awesome.
Yes, I restart it and play it louder every time.
When this was selected as one of the picks for this cycle, I was like, not another guy singing in a hallway. And then it played, and I was like, oh, this is pretty good.
Right, when it goes halftime, like double time or whatever.
So good. And I'm not a huge black
It's because
metal
it's
fan.
like black and roll at parts.
Oh,
right, just rocks, and you're just like, fuck.
There's
it's headbanger shit,
Nathan,
dude.
There's some atmospheric stuff. There's I
actually write dreamlike.
Yeah, in a way.
Honestly, there's some parts that I feel like I'm in a dream with some running water. Everything looks like
I'm pissing the bed.
I'm seeing through a mist and fog.
Even for having like the harsh vocals, there's not an over use of chorus on it. They're very like mellow and clear.
Yeah, it's not hallway sounding.
Yeah, it's not hallway. And even though I didn't notice if he is singing in Norwegian, I didn't notice it, which is kind of a testament to the fact that they didn't grind on me to the point where I was like, what's the dude saying? Or they got annoying. They were really good.
That's a good observation, because I didn't think, like you asked the question, is the lyrics in English or not? And I'm like, I didn't even look. And it did, but it doesn't sound like foreign. Like like I'm into it.
And
Whatever
I think that's kind of a testament to like just the musical
I
production
was
on
just
this.
about to say like
Yeah,
that.
like the music is so
When you
good
put
on
it that
this.
way, sometimes you put shit a certain way, and I'm like, fucking.
Yeah,
Casey
the music
gets it.
on this, the
Casey
music on
gets
this
it.
is just so good that like the vocals are kind of just an afterthought. They're there, but I'm not really paying attention because the music, like the guitar work and
it's
the drum
the
work, is
fucking
just so
guitar
good.
playing, dude.
And the guitar's good, but I want to point out that it does at some points get a little repetitive, but it never gets repetitive to the point where you're just like, okay, come on, let's move on. It's like, oh, it's starting to get repetitive, and then it moves to the next part.
I have to disagree completely.
You think so?
I went through. I was going through my notes, and every song I was writing something about the guitar.
Okay.
And I was going back. I'm like, I'm writing something about the guitar on every.
The guitar is like the
There's
forefront
so
of this.
many memorable parts. Like I forget which song it is, but one of them has like this guitar part that sounds like it's from like Ride the Lightning.
Oh, okay.
And I'm just, it's beautiful, dude. There's so many good parts on this.
Well,
In Spec, he lets out like honestly the most horrible, heartfelt scream, like for like a couple counts. It's just like,
Yeah. His vocals, like, so
I
even
would say,
his vocals are good, right?
oh, for sure.
The guitar's the standout part. The drums are also good, even though he's not.
Sometimes the drums almost sound like, are those real?
Yeah. So I got, and maybe
Unless
that's
I
where
might be
my
dumb, but-
maybe that's where my guitar
Like it's programmed.
maybe that's where
maybe.
my guitar repetitiveness comes
Or
from,
triggered or
because there's some
something.
points where the drums almost sound like that whoosh whoosh you get when the windows are down and you're driving down the highway.
You explain
Yeah.
blast beats like this. You're like, no, it's not a blast
No.
beat. You're like, that's a blast beat.
Well, but it's not that. It's just it. I don't know if it's like the syncopation with the bass or whatever that it really puts that deep whoa 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 in the back of your ear.
There is bass in this, which is nice also.
Mm-hmm.
It's cool. Yeah, it's nice.
Dude, I think I think he hits the nail on a little bit of everything. The vocals, the guitar work, obviously, those atmospheric parts. I think that those atmospheric parts need those guitar breakup parts. It makes it way more interesting, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I would definitely say, you don't find this atmospheric, like you don't find this kind of like
I feel like
dreamlike
there's-
in some parts.
When I think atmospheric, I think there's like longer drony parts, and like it's more spacey, and like there's more reverb. You know what I mean? It sounds bigger.
Yeah.
This sounds more like
See, I consider
more
atmospheric
rockin'.
more along what Nathan described, where it's like almost this dream trance kind of feeling.
it does have the. I'll give you. Okay, I'll
Uh.
agree to that. It's like dreamy, and he does a good job of this. Like dreamy and it like kind of spacey, but it's still like there's so much interesting stuff going on. It
For
keeps
sure, it changes up. It has riffy parts.
atmospheric is like background, but this is like demanding my attention over and over
I
again.
just want to point this out, Matt. I asked AI to write me a review of this, and the first
do
thing it
tell.
says is a dark and atmospheric journey through the depths of the human soul.
Oh my god!
So
though.
even AI got that this
that
was
is such a
atmospheric.
cliche fucking thing, though. Like if I ever say something like that, sock me in the eye.
So, I mean, but I honestly, I feel like this is like a dark and atmospheric journey through the depths of the human soul.
You unoriginal twat.
What?
That does sound good, though.
Yeah, I was like, huh.
I wish I wrote it.
Yeah, I wish I would have
I
wrote
think
that too.
this touches on a little bit of everything, and like that's what I love about it. And also at the same time, I kind of don't like about it. I kind of feel like he's just like checked. I got this part. I got this part. It doesn't hurt.
Do you think he's phoning it in at this point?
No, I don't. But I
Okay.
think he definitely is like, he's got his checkpoints, But no, I don't think he's
Like,
I don't
okay,
think
is
he's
this a
playing himself.
formula then?
It's an atmosphere that he's trying to get across. So, okay, this one, I guess maybe this one is a little bit more atmospheric to me too, because the one before was a little bit more raw. It was a little bit more like black, And so there's definitely a difference between this release and the release in 2021, in my opinion.
Okay.
And that maybe that's why I kind of get a little bit more of an atmospheric feel for it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But maybe it just hits on everything because it's that good.
See,
Like, did this guy just kind of write like a really good record?
well, but you said his previous
Right?
album,
That's a good dilemma.
but you said his previous album was good too. So maybe he's just good at writing albums to begin with. I mean,
sure.
it feels like there's a conscious decision in everything that's made on here, almost to the point, like you said, where the drums at times almost sound fake, like they're triggered almost or something, which is weird because I'm not a death or a black metal fan, and I went into this just totally like, oh, I'm gonna hate it, and came out of it like, this is really good, and
That's cool.
it's not even my style.
It's not brutal.
It's not brutal. It's actually kind of refreshing.
Yeah, it's
Which
not.
is sad to say for a black metal album, but it really is.
I think you're right. It's like a
It's
interesting.
not offensive, really.
I feel like somebody who's into rock could listen to this and understand it.
It's
and,
accessible, yeah.
Yeah, and appreciate it.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I do feel that it does get long at points, though.
Okay, so I felt like some of these tracks, a lot of these tracks are over 5 minutes. So the whole album's 8 tracks, 47 minutes, which to me would normally be like, oh, this is ridiculous. But I feel like there's enough change-ups and stuff in this to really kind of keep it fresh.
I think it's a good
Really?
length.
No, and that's what I'm saying. Like it's a good length, and none of the songs seem to drag like this overly obnoxious amount of time. Like I said,
It's kind of
there's parts where it picks up, and you're like, okay, it's getting a little repetitive. But then he's conscious enough to change it up enough.
He's making it interesting.
He does, and he makes it
I
interesting.
get it.
So I mean, with all that said, I gave it a 4.2. I thought it was a great album.
Nice, dude.
I love how this album comes in. Like the first track on this is just so good. It's got that like little bit of ambience going on, and then it just comes in with that awesome guitar, and it's just killer. The drums are decent, but I think they're probably the weakest part of this whole album.
I agree, kind of.
Guitar works great. Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect to like this as much as I did. I was really surprised.
I actually have a lot of notes on this because it's like check mark, check mark, check mark.
Yeah.
I give it a 4.1 out of 5.
Wow. I gave a black metal album a higher rating than you.
I know, crazy.
What
This
the-
show's crazy.
What's going on
This
here?
might be on my best of 2023 list. Subscribe and check that out near the end of the year or early next year, I think is what.
Yeah, I think we're going to do it early next year.
Yeah,
we
so
can get
January.
the Decembers.
My only beef with this is like you're saying, it's not offensive.
Yeah.
It's not ferocious. You know, I prefer stuff like Marduk and Mayhem.
Like, I want my black metal to be murderous.
Yeah, literally. This is more like black and roll to me.
Yeah.
But I love it, dude. I think this is really killer. I think it's a really good album, especially this year. This year's had a lot of banger albums already.
I would kind of agree with that for sure.
Nathan?
So I guess my only complaint would kind of be the same thing. It's almost like I know it's black metal or whatever. That's why I call it like atmospheric, because it's like I almost want to say like, I mean, it's not offensive. So it's like, is it really black metal?
Oh, we're getting
No,
elitist.
it is. That's I just.
If it's not evil, satanic, and people
that's
are
why-
burning churches, it's not black metal.
I'm just kidding.
This is some dude running a podcast, which is totally lame.
Podcast suck.
And,
dude.
yeah, it's
I'm
not
tired
black
of these
metal.
podcasts. I would definitely give this a 4.1, guys.
Wow!
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, this is a good record, and I'm really glad that Casey likes it. And it goes to show that like this show has opened us up to music ourselves.
Oh, for sure.
And I-
Oh,
you
and I
know.
hope it opens you up to music
Yeah.
too.
So that was Mork, Dypet, and we are Blenderstyle.
Subscribe to our show, please.